Hello Pisces, how are you? Welcome to your February 2017 Love and General Tarot card reading. Also, I've been traveling a little bit, so half the readings I did in Tokyo and the other half I'm doing here in Bali. So if you are watching multiple signs and there's a difference, just want to let you know that that's why, but that you are in the right place for February. So, okay, let's go ahead and begin, Pisces. Your love reading for February 2017. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, Three of Wands reversed, King of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, the Fool, Eight of Wands reversed, Four of Swords, and the Page of Wands. There seems to be a level of comfort happening here. Nine of Pentacles is about having enough on your own, even financially feeling secure, professionally feeling secure, feeling as though you've reached that point of everything that you can do for yourself. It's the step right before you decide you want to open up your world, okay? I think you have a very open vibe, willing to let people in, willing to share, but, and there's a caveat to that, yes, you are fine on your own. But I think there is a little bit of hesitancy, okay, for some of you maybe a lot of hesitancy, to really open yourself up. There's a level of protection, right? Like this is all stuff that you have accomplished on your own. This is all stuff that you have to call, whether it's your home or your car or, the material aspects of life, or whether it's just your own happiness, okay, your own, whatever it is. It's made you a whole person, a whole independent entity. And I feel as though you're being very, very protective of that, really closed off, and really almost kind of like an element of fighting for those things and protecting it and making sure that someone else doesn't come in and ruin it. And when you're in a relationship, this can be a really hard energy to have because it's like cutting someone out. And I don't know why exactly this is happening, but I feel that this is your partner here. Okay, maybe an earth sign, maybe a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. It doesn't have to be, or your love interest, right? Or someone that you're interested in and having a relationship with. And they seem to be, like, first of all, I don't think that this person really needs anything. So it's interesting that you're trying to protect your world from them. And that you might be hesitant to step off with them. And when I say step off, I mean like step off the cliff with them. I feel that there is a need or a desire to have faith that everything is going to be okay with them. But yet you're having a really hard time with this Three of Wands reversed. You're having a really hard time making that leap. And I think that there might be something that you're waiting for. Like you're waiting for something to come to you, whether it's some news or some form of... I'm so sorry about the roosters. Hopefully you guys can't hear them. There's nothing I can do about them. I've been trying to avoid recording during the day, but they just crow all day long. So anyway, I just feel like you're waiting for them to do something, or you need them to like kind of step up and take some responsibility, because if, after all, he is a king, right? Male or female, your partner or the person that you're interested in. Like, it's almost as though you don't want to go to them, you want them to come to you. You want them to make some concessions, them to budge, but for some reason they aren't budging. King of Pentacles is a very, very slow moving energy, and doesn't necessarily exert a lot of energy toward other people. There's interest there, there's love there, okay? Your partner, the person that you love, the person you're interested in, they are looking on to you. And I think what's happening is like you're questioning, like, why is it that I have to be the one to bend, or I have to be the one that gives up what I have and what I have accomplished in my life, when they are perfectly capable of meeting me halfway. They are perfectly capable of meeting me in the middle, and they don't. And I think that there's some like hesitancy on both sides to meet in the middle, and you're both kind of being a little bit on the stubborn side. And here we have this Fool, right? This really is going to require a leap of faith from both of you that everything is going to be okay. A leap of faith that you really do love each other, that you really do want the best for each other, that you really do want a relationship with each other. But when you're so closed off and you're so blockaded and you're so like protective of your world, how can you expect someone to cross that bridge, just like they can't expect you to cross that bridge either? So you're kind of working against each other a little bit. There's a need for you and for them, for both of you really, because you're both being tied in with this Pentacles energies. Okay, the Pentacle Earth sign, and this is about the materialistic aspect of love, the having of the love, okay, or the having of the idea of what love is supposed to be. There's an idea that you have formulated, and for some reason you guys aren't fitting into each other. I think ultimately you guys are a really good match. While you're not coming out as like a court card, the Nine of Pentacles I very often equate to the Queen of Pentacles. I think that they're really similar in nature. And so when she comes out, the Nine of Pentacles, and it's matching with another person that's the king, I feel that there is a level of compatibility and that there is potential strength within this relationship. And whatever it is you're protecting yourself from, there is a need to let go. But it's going to require a huge level of faith. Okay? And that's sometimes really, really hard to come by. And especially when, in some ways, you feel that you are you deserve everything that you've worked for, right? Like, you've worked hard, you've earned it, it's yours. Why should you have to give it to this person, this who is a King of Pentacles, who is fully, fully capable of having everything on their own? Why do they need something from you, right? And I think that there's this really hard opposition within yourself. And I think it's kind of causing lack of movement and lack of manifestation for having what you want. These Eight of Wands is about change and movement. And when it's in a challenge reversed position, that movement becomes harder to come by. Four of Swords, I'm happy you got this because it means peace of mind. And then we have the Page of Wands, also happy you got this because it means one step at a time. And I think there might be some magnitude a little bit, like it's been a little bit over projected, right? The expectations of one another. the ideal of what the relationship is supposed to be. It's been amplified. And I think what needs to happen is it needs to be scaled back to the basics and an acceptance that you are your own person and that they are their own person. But to understand there needs to be a coming together in some way. And that this level of protection and that this level of guardedness is not productive, because it is this that is causing this reversal. Whatever is going on in your relationship or in your love life, it's important to scale it back, like I said, bring it to a more raw level, okay? And to really take it one step at a time. I feel like you're dealing with a lot. These aren't even dark or intense energies. I'm just getting a vibe that there's a lot going on. I'm getting a vibe that you're both being really stubborn, and you both have a lot to offer, and yet you're not offering it because of whatever reason, fill in the blanks. Like, there's a lot of fear surrounded by the concept of motion and movement and change. This is a restful mind. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of those posters in the 90s that were like digitally created, and you had to relax your eyes in order to see the picture, and you had to like make your eyes go fuzzy before the picture would jump out at you. And I feel that that's the mental version of this, right? Relaxing your mind and like meditation. Relaxing and letting things just come to you and letting your mind get fuzzy and get hazy before it finds clarity. And I think that you will find the overall picture of what needs to be done, and you will find the solution of really how to bridge this gap and how to meet in the middle and how not to be fearful of moving forward, because there is action at the end of this reading. You do have like day 1, do this, day 2, do this, and it's going to be a little bit more structured, I think. But right now, it's just all so protected. You and them. It's too protected, as opposed to being two people that are willing to share. It should, like as it should be, two people that are willing to share. It's two people as to how much they can keep from the other one, almost. Let me go ahead and pull out the last card and see what that says. The Queen of Swords. She's over kind of this overall puppet master, right? Puppet mastering, controlling, not in a bad way. I love the Queen of Swords. She's one of my favorite characters. I think she has a lot of benefit, and she's the one that has the clarity of mind. But clarity of mind, yes, but can often feel overwhelmed very, very easily, overwhelmed by a lot of tasks. This pentacle energy here is so, so, so important because it allows you and enables you to really structure and plan it out. Whatever the issue is, whatever this blockage is, it is the earth-like energies of the two of you that will enable you to work through it. This is strategy. This is results. Okay? Strategy is just as important. Strategy, action, results. So, take that fuzzy mind of yours, because within the fuzziness, within the chaos, you will find clarity, You will find some level of peace and understanding as to how to really move forward. Okay, let me go ahead and do the general reading because I think it's going to really add to it. This wasn't the most romantic reading, and I feel that this might carry over a little bit, so let's go ahead and see what that other reading has to say. Let me shuffle 3 times. Okay. Sorry, it's humid here, and the cards are really sticky. Okay. As good as I can do it. There we go. Okay. Okay, Pisces, here we go. 6 of Pentacles. Okay, first of all, giving. There is an essence of giving. And I think one of the reasons why you might be so protective is because maybe you feel that you have given so much already. You feel that you have been the one that was open and, embraced the other person and were kind of blindly giving in some way. Wheel of Fortune. I love the Wheel of Fortune. That's the first time I got this reading for this month actually. King of Swords, similar to the Queen of Swords. Okay, one of the reasons why I feel that maybe you have experienced, or with the Fool, right, that faith that I'm talking about, I feel like one of the reasons why that's been so hard for you is because maybe it has proven to be a cyclical pattern. Maybe it has proven in the past to be something that keeps drawing you in, having faith, having hope in something, continuing to give, continuing to invest, to put in, and maybe not really seeing the results that you were always hoping for. I'm seeing really frustrated energies going on here. Recurring patterns. The wheel is always turning, the wheel is always spinning. With a new revolution of the wheel, it brings about new opportunities. But if you play the same, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We have 2 5s here, and the 5s are just that. They're frustrating. This is patterns, right? And this is associated with this person. Patterns, fights that you cannot win. Whatever behavior this person is exhibiting, okay, or whatever behavior you are exhibiting toward this person, doesn't even have to be in a romantic sense. This could be in, apply to so many different things in your life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this person either, okay? But I feel that there is someone in your life that is fully capable of giving and does not give, all right? And they are this more cold, now I'm kind of feeling like it's them, right? Someone who's a little bit more cold, someone that doesn't, like they don't bend, they don't give, and it's always their way. Three of Swords. I think the reason for the protection, the reason for feeling so guarded, right, is just because you've been through this before and you know that it ends in disappointment. Okay? And now it's come to a point where you are hesitant to accept offers, where you're hesitant to accept things or promises. Okay, things that are supposed to make you feel happy do not in fact make you feel happy. In fact, these things that are being promised to you or being offered to you are making you feel tension. And I feel like you're fighting against progress because you feel that any progress will revert you back to the beginning. And again, will be you the one giving, you the one putting into something, investing in something, causing this all to just recur again, go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, again and again and again and again. But it's tempting. Like there's a reason why. There's some form of commitment, there's some form of obligation or something that keeps this happening over and over and over. Now, this reading isn't really giving me a lot of advice. It's just more a reflection of what's going on. But I think if any advice, okay, is the element of control that comes with the Wheel of Fortune. Because, and I say this, if you watch me for any period of time, I always say this with the Wheel of Fortune, because I call it the card of universal intervention. But you have to remember that there are certain things in your life that you do have control over. Very few things. It seems like we have control over a lot of stuff, right? You know, what you have for breakfast, what you decide to do with your time. You know, do you decide to watch TV, or do you decide to write that proposal? Do you decide to do this, or go and work out, or do you decide to eat that pizza, or whatever, right? Our days are chock full of decisions and choices that must be made. But at a certain extent, there are so many more things that we do not have control over. But you have to remember that you do have control over certain things. And it is what you do with the things you do have control over. And I think that there's a need and this inane desire for you to finally grasp it, because I feel there's a lot of chaos surrounding something. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of disorganization, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of anger and temperament. And no matter how many promises that come in, no how many offers, look, these are the same. That cup in that hand and this one, it's the same. It's just the same thing over and over and over. Okay, let me pull out the last card and see what that says. Six of Swords. This is the advice, okay? Sometimes you need to just bite the bullet. Sometimes you need to just move on. Things that come with the devil can be incredibly, complex. There can be legal obligations, there can be contracts and, verbal agreements and, people depending on you. So to break free from that is incredibly difficult. And I see this being what needs to happen. Okay, sometimes this can be a physical relocation. I almost feel like some of you are going to physically relocate, move cities, move to a different place to get away from whatever this pattern is, whatever this cyclical thing is. Because maybe it's the only way that you can really think to get this out of your life. I don't think that this is anything that's making anybody happy. This is something that's really, really hard that you're going through. And you will never be able to completely get rid of what this is, okay? See these swords? They come with you. These are lessons, these are failures, successes, learning experiences, okay? They all come with you. And in a way, people come with you too. You're not traveling alone here. Sometimes you gotta just move on. Sometimes you just gotta pack up those bags. I'm not telling you to move, but what I am saying is the emotional baggage. Pack up that emotional baggage. Take it for what it is, and try to find some peace. And I know it's so much easier said than done. And when the devil is involved, and when you're dealing with a King of Pentacles or a King of Swords, these are powerful people that have influence in our lives. And it could be one of the most challenging things you'll ever have to go through. Again, not saying, well, I am just saying what I'm feeling inspired to say. That's all. I'm not seeing guidance by intuition here. This is guidance through logic. Okay? Guidance through what's best. And I don't think that there's any doubt in my mind that you know what's best. It's just, I think it's the hardest thing, right? The right choice is usually the hardest choice type of thing. This is definitely the hardest thing, which is probably why it's been prolonged, why it has taken so long, and why it will continue to take a long time. I don't think that if you're trying to get away from a person, okay, if you're trying to get away from a situation, or if there's someone involved, if you're really trying to get away from them, I don't think you will ever fully, truly get away from them, because look, they are still in that boat with you. They're still in that boat with you, but at least it will be different. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like that's all that I'm feeling inspired to say. So I'm going to leave you with that, Pisces. I wish you nothing but the best. It sounds like you got a lot of heavy stuff going on. It's been such a mixture of readings this month. Good and bad and hard and easy and all types of things. Very, very different each sign. So I really wish you nothing but the best. I think there's a lot of movement here. And I think getting this out of your life really will be the positive in this reading. Getting it out, moving away is the positive. Okay? So, that was a strong one. I'm going to let you go with that, all right? Thank you so much, Pisces, and I'll see you next month. Bye.